Data types. Predefined ABAP data types. So in this lesson, we will learn the ABAP data types. While programming in ABAP, we need to use a variety of variables to store various information. Sounds like there is a variety of variables. So basically, variables are reserved memory locations, and those reserved memory locations store values. That means that when you create a variable, you reserve some space in memory. Keep that one in your memory. So based on the data type of a variable, the operating system allocates memory and decides what can be stored in the reserved memory. So basically, we can collect ABAP data types in three groups by character, integer, and hexadecimal. Now, there are four types of character data types. These are C, N, T, and D types. We can use type C data in an alphanumeric text value of whatever length you can specify up to the maximum length. The N data type stores a numeric text value, fills any unused capacity with zeros. And we can use the type T data for storing a time value. So this field stores a date value in the format year, month, day. There are three types of integer data types. These are F, I, and P types. We use type F fields when you need to cope with very large value ranges and rounding errors are not critical. We can use data type I for counters, numbers of items, indexes, time periods, and so on. And we can use type P for the values like distances, weights, amounts of money, and that kind of thing. Hexadecimal type. The type X data stores a hexadecimal value. Now, how about a sample application of predefined ABAP data types? So we'll go to transaction code SE38, and let's create a program called Z Data Types Example. And press the Create button. And we'll enter the title for our program. Select the executable program as the type and click on Save. And there it is, our program was created. So now we'll define a variable in character type. So right now we'll define the variable named IV underscore character in the character type. The length of the variable is 40 characters. So we have assigned the text hello world to the IV underscore character variable by default. So with the write command, we will print the value of our variable, IV character, on the screen. Activate and execute the program. So the value of the IV character variable, hello world, certainly was printed on my screen, and I hope was printed on yours. Otherwise, you need to go back. But if you've gone forward, in this step, we will define a variable in the numeric type. So we'll define a variable named IV underscore numeric in the numeric type. Now the length is 20 characters. We've assigned 2101542 as our value to the IV numeric variable. And with a write command, we will print the value of our variable IV underscore numeric on the screen. The command uline draws a horizontal line on the screen. So we'll activate and execute the program. So we printed the value of the IV underscore numeric variable on the screen. And I want to point out that in numerical variables, the empty fields on the left side of our value are filled as 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So in this step, we will define a variable in time. So we define a variable named IV underscore time in the time type. And now you can see that we've assigned sy-uzeit as the value to IV underscore time as the variable. sy-uzeit is the current time of the application server. So with the write command, we will print the value of our variable IV underscore time on the screen. Activate and execute the program. And there it is. We've printed the value of the IV time variable on the screen. So now in this step, let's define a variable in the date type. So in the date type, we'll define two variables named IV underscore date and IV underscore tomorrow. We've assigned sy-datum as the value to IV underscore date variable. sy-datum is the current date of the application server. And we assign in parentheses IV underscore date plus 1, close parentheses, to IV underscore tomorrow. With the right command, let's print the value of our variable IV underscore date on the screen. And we'll activate and execute the program. And there it is. We printed the value of the IV underscore tomorrow variable on the screen. So now in this step, we'll define a variable of the integer type. So in integer type, we'll define a variable named IV underscore integer. So here we've assigned 50 as the value to IV integer variable. And with the right command, let's print the value of our variable IV integer on the screen. Activate and execute the program. And sure enough, what's printed on the screen is the value of the IV integer. So in this step, let's define a variable in the float type. So in the float type, we define a variable named IV underscore float. And we've assigned IV underscore integer slash 12 as our value to IV float. That is 50 slash 12. So with the right command, let's print the value of our variable IV float on the screen. Activate and execute the program. And, of course, we printed the value of the IV float variable right there on your screen. Now, in this step, we'll define a variable in a packed type. So in the packed type, we'll define a variable named IV underscore packed. And it is a decimal of 2 digits. So we've assigned 123.21 as the value to IV underscore packed. And with the right command, let's print the value of our variable IV underscore packed on the screen. Activate and execute the program. And look at that. Printed on the screen is the value of IV packed. Now there is another one. So finally, let's define a variable in the hexadecimal type. And in the hexadecimal type, we'll define a variable named IV underscore hexadecimal. Now, we've assigned 0a as our value to the IV underscore hexadecimal variable. And with the right command, let's print the variable of our variable, IV underscore hexadecimal, on the screen. Let's activate and execute the program. And what do you know? We've printed the value of the IV underscore hexadecimal variable right there up on the screen. So in the data dictionary, all domains, data elements are created using these predefined data types. So in the sample application, we have just completed the use of the predefined data types. Have at it.